Fuck you!
So the chained ogre took me to Suplex City, which was apparently at the bottom of those cliffs, and he took me to Suplex City on more than one occasion. Now this of course is Sekiro, developed by Dark Souls makers From Software, which means you can fully expect to be tested time and time again by bosses, by mini bosses, by normal enemies, by massive roosters, and at times by the camera angle as well. Now there is some mini boss footage in this video, so you may see it as a spoiler, so you have been warned. But if you are curious and thinking about picking this game up, then Falcha, welcome on in. Sekiro is beautiful, it's bloody hard, and it is strangely satisfying as well. The sense of achievement you get in this game is real because of course the challenge is real. It's the first thing I think anyone thinking about picking up Sekiro should know in advance. This game will kick your arse over and over again, so you can expect to see the death screen a lot. From your first encounter with the general to walking up those steps toward that chained ogre mini boss, which is probably one of the first skill checks in the game, right the way through all of its bosses and mini bosses, and that of course is just the beginning. I've enjoyed Sekiro way more than I thought I would, and I'm not really a Soulsborne player, but it's a game I would highly recommend anyone to check out. Its combat is pretty unique. It focuses on of course dodging and parrying attacks, but more so on the breaking down of your opponent's posture in order to land that killing blow, or multiple killing blows depending on the enemy type. So if you force your enemy to parry enough, then their posture meter will climb up until it breaks, allowing you to land that killing blow. But it's not as simple as that. Enemies of course have different attack styles. Some attack fast, relentlessly, switching between sword and of course martial arts as well. Others can be huge, big, slow, hulking enemies that can knock most of your health down with one hit. So of course you need to learn their attack patterns and I guess your playstyle to suit going up against them. Now when you have to dodge out of the way or back out of your enemy's reach, then of course the posture meter will go back down, which means that at times you may need, or you may feel the need to be aggressive as hell, which also gets you killed because you get greedy and overreach. And backing away from enemies with a huge spear is a big no-no. Those feckers will happily poke you to death from range. Now being 100% honest, at times Sekiro completely, and I mean completely, exhausts me, but in a good way. I went from amazement when I seen some of the beautiful scenery in the game, like when you first started and you walk out onto that white field in the kind of prologue, to the fear or excitement you feel when the battle music kicks in, to the rage you get at the constant silly mistakes that I made, because you will make them, from nerves or greed or sweaty hands because the boss only has a sliver of health left and you think that you have him, you're going to kill him now, only for that boss to then kick you in the face and fucking kill you. Now eventually you get that feeling of euphoria when you finally get that killing blow on a boss or on a mini boss that has been wiping the floor with you for a while now, and it does give you that sense of achievement. Not many games give you this feeling, with the exception of a few, like others made by From Software and games like it. But it is of course a From Software game that, according to a lot of veteran Souls players, needs to be played unlike Souls games. In fact, I've had more than one subscriber tell me that they needed, or they felt like they needed to unlearn everything that they learned from playing Dark Souls games in order to fully enjoy Sekiro and its experience, because the combat is different. Now, there are obvious Souls comparisons, you can't really hide that, from the resting and resetting of mobs on levels, to travelling, to the healing, to some of the parts of the UI and the menu, and even the damn camera angles, like I said, to some degree, which can be really annoying in some of the boss fights due to the fight taking place in a small room, and when you back up too close to a wall, of course that camera angle is going to become just really nasty, and this can and of course will at times cause you to die. Now the stealth aspect of Sekiro is something that I probably enjoyed more than I thought I would, and I can see why so many players are comparing it to Tenchu, another game set in a fantasy feudal Japan, a game that I remember playing back in the 90s on my PlayStation 1 in my parents' house, Tenchu Stealth Assassins, and it completely blew my mind. And the fact that Sekiro may have started out, if the rumour is true, originally as a Tenchu game definitely shows. grappling onto a roof or a wall and dropping down on enemies, killing a few and grappling away, only to return a few seconds later when the alert level drops and those enemies are unsuspecting, is something that I spent a lot of time doing. Also, you can drop down on some mini bosses to knock off one of their health bar, which is really useful, but groups in Sekiro, if you give them the chance, can and will overwhelm you and kill you damn quickly as well. Not to mention if you come across any groups of those huge big roosters. So listen, if you enjoy a challenge, if it's something you're looking for in a game, if you enjoy fighting some epic encounters against incredibly hard enemies and bosses and mini bosses, then Sekiro is 100% for you. Now, when you start the game off, there is no difficulty settings. You can't go from easy to medium to hard. Everyone starts off on the same settings. But if you're like me and you never really got into Dark Souls games or Soulsborne games in the past, or even Neo or any game like that, then you may be surprised how much fun Sekiro actually is. And it is a game I would recommend everyone at least try to some degree, or watch footage of it or streams of it to see if it is going to be the game for you. Now let me know in the comment section below what you think of Sekiro, if you have it, how far into it you are, what you thought maybe was your hardest encounter, boss or mini boss. Do me a huge favour and hit that like button if you enjoyed the video, and as always, thanks very much for watching.